Here I am, Cynthia Resor, on another time travel adventure. I didn't exactly mean to end up here in 1974, but it's a pretty exciting event. I told the time travel frog to take me to ancient Greece, to the city of Naxos, which was a colony on the island of Sicily, but it must have misunderstood me and thought I said Nixon, because here I am. This is August 9th, 1974, and this is when President Nixon had resigned and was leaving Washington, D.C. This is a huge event in American history. Nixon had resigned on national television the night before, and he was the first and only president to resign from office. Why? Because he was involved in the Watergate scandal. Of course, Congress had not impeached him yet. They had not charged him of crimes, but it was about to happen, so he resigned. The scandal had started 2 years before, in 1972, when a group of men broke into the Democratic National Headquarters in the Watergate office building. And you've heard of the Watergate scandal, but no one knew anything had happened for a whole year. And in 1973, two reporters uncovered what had happened, and it came out that the people who broke into the Democratic National Office were affiliated with the Republican Party. In other words, it was pretty obvious they were cheating in the election. So lots of people went down over the scandal, and it's likely that President Nixon may have too. So he resigned from office and left Washington, D.C., and President Gerald Ford, who had been the vice president, took over. So this is an example of political history. This is big news. This is important in American history. But a lot of times your history books really concentrate the most on political history, the powerful people and what was happening in government and leadership, but they don't look at the lives of daily people. They don't always look at the wider picture. So I want you to think about history in an interdisciplinary way. For instance, let's look at economic history. What was happening in 1974 in economic history? Well, the year before, the oil-producing countries had placed an embargo on the United States and other countries that supported Israel. And that embargo meant they weren't shipping oil to the United States. And you know, then, like today, our economy depends on oil. Prices went up 300%. Imagine if your gasoline prices went up 300%. It caused inflation, or it caused prices to rise. It was a terrible economic crisis that was occurring during this time. Now, that's economic history. Of course, there's geography and the environment. Those also impact history and impact the lives of daily people. So in 1974, in April, a huge outbreak of tornadoes went across the eastern United States and especially impacted the state of Kentucky. Lives were lost, lots of property was damaged. And if you know someone that was living at that time, I bet they remember those tornadoes in early April 1974. Another important part of history, and probably the part that a lot of us are the most interested in, is cultural history or daily life. What were regular people doing? Now, I love this part. So the time travel frog, you know, it puts me in the clothes of the era. And I think fashion is interesting. And here I am, 1974. I am in a polyester double knit pantsuit. Now, I kind of wish that they had given me something a little younger and hipper in polyester, because this is kind of an old lady pantsuit, but I guess the time travel machine knew my age. I've got the dippity-doo hair, I've got the scarf, the blue eyeshadow, and polyester. Oh, it was the wonder fiber of the age. You didn't have to iron it like all those natural fibers that people have worn for hundreds and hundreds of years. It was wash and wear, never faded. Polyester double knit. If you like other parts of popular culture, like movies and music and television, of course, television was around in 1974, but you didn't have Netflix, you didn't have internet downloading television, you didn't really even have cable. You had 3 channels, ABC, CBS, and NBC. The popular show that was just going off the air in 1974 was The Brady Bunch. Now, you've heard Zoom jokes about the Brady Bunch, and if you've never watched a rerun, it's time to do it, so you'll get the joke. The new show that was coming on in 1974 was Happy Days. And Happy Days was a half-hour comedy, and it was set in the 1950s, but it debuted in 1974. The biggest money-making movie of 1974 was The Towering Inferno, about a skyscraper that caught on fire, so it was an action-adventure movie. And the most popular song, oh, I think I can hear it playing in the background. The most popular song was by Barbara Streisand, The Way We Were. And that's popular culture history or daily life history, and that's my favorite. So just keep in mind, big events like this, these are important. Political history matters. But look at the bigger picture. Ask, what's going on in the economy? How's geography or the climate or the environment impact events? And what are regular people doing? And how is all of it fitting together to make a complete picture of an era in the past? So you join me again. We'll go on another time travel adventure soon.